So we're here at Lumini. We're going to talk a little bit about analysing wind strength. It's probably something that's quite misunderstood by golfers. So Dan, how do you see the wind playing out and how it affects the golf ball?
So first of all, I don't think anyone really pays attention enough to what the wind is going to be before they even got to the golf course. Now, all of us on our modern smartphones today have got the weather apps, and that gives us a wind direction and a speed. Now what I would do is have a look, first of all, before you've even got to the golf course. What is the wind strength going to be today? So we know today that when we first started off, it was going to be at 6 miles an hour, but then as the day progressed, it was getting up to 12, which is where we are now. So that's actually, if I look at approximately each mile an hour is a yard, that's 12 yards it's impacting us into the wind. Now, this is a classic situation where we can't really feel it. We're surrounded by the trees and it doesn't really feel any wind here, but we know there's quite a lot going on up there. What we've got to do is trust the fact that we know there's that wind up there. So the knowledge of previously par 5 was second shot right into the wind. We know that this one is going to be playing longer. The other thing that people don't always look at is how different it is downwind and into the wind. So when you're into the wind, what happens is the wind gets underneath the ball, elevating it up, and that's what will stall it more, creating more spin, making it get higher, and that's what creates that sort of effect that the ball isn't going as far. Downwind, it's actually pushing the ball downwards. So I always look at, let's say it was 12 yards into the wind, 12 miles an hour into the wind is 12 yards. That downwind would be 6. What I would always look at is have a look at where the wind direction is across the course when you're playing. Have a look at the weather app when you've got there. Is it a swirling wind? Does it say it's going to be like that on the hour by hour, or is it pretty constant? If it's constant, then you know, let's say on your first holes into the wind, well, if your second goes in the opposite direction, it's going to be down, and then you can sort of judge where things are going to be at. And even if you get in the trees where it can feel swirly, you know that once your ball gets above that tree line, it isn't going to be swirly. It's going to be on that constant line. So it gives you that peace of mind. That would be the first thing. So obviously we know that this is 12 miles an hour into. So this one right here is obviously downhill, so that's going to take off some yardage. And today's distance, the way that it's 175 to the flag, to adding 12 ons, then sort of 185, taking that back another layer with the elevation down, is going to be playing 180. I reckon that this is a really good solid 7 for you, because it's like 172 is going to be about your 7 iron. It's going to get near the front edge. We don't want to go long because of the way the green is designed. So it's the perfect club for you. But it's for everybody who's out there, it's understanding that how much of an effect that ball flight is going to have, does the wind's going to have on the ball flight by changing the height. And everyone over exit downwind. I think it's going to go too far and underestimates it into the wind. So, but for you today, I think it's a good solid 7 iron, mate.
I agree. I think that should be the one. Let's put it to the test up.
Yeah, that's working great. That's going to be absolutely perfect, mate.
Take that every day of the week.
2 on the cards coming up there, pal. Love it. That's reading that wind there made a big difference to the decision making of the shot. And I would say to everybody, making a note on the scorecard of what the wind's going to look like before you tee off. You're allowed to do it.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
You know, you're not allowed to look at your weather app all the way around and have a look. But if you've made the notes before you go out, it's often in the planning makes the differences for everything in life, from whether it's going to be business and whether it's going to be other sports. But in this particular area, make a huge difference to your game.